Welcome back to another Meta Monday. If you're looking for an easy to play and consistent deck, Joltik Box is right for you, and today we're taking a look at Joltik Box to see whether it's still a real meta threat or if it's actually fallen into rogue contender. Now, and here's the list that I ran for testing, and the deck has 4 core cards starting with Joltik. This is the engine of the deck. Its attack Jolting Charge lets you accelerate up to 2 grass and up to 2 electric energy from your deck to your bench Pokemon. This instantly powers up your main attacker, Iron Hands, or gives you 2/3 of the energy you need for your backup attacker, Pikachu EX. Now, an Iron Hands is your first major attacker. We primarily use its second attack, Ampy, very much, which does 120 damage, and if you take a knockout with that attack, you take an extra prize. Now, Pikachu EX is your other main attacker. Its attack deals a massive 300 damage, and its ability lets it survive a hit as long as it's been at full HP before taking that damage. This makes Pikachu not only an outstanding tank, but also a very powerful closer as well. Now, Miraidon is what brings all of this together. Its ability accelerates 2 electric Pokemon to your bench, letting you set up immediately. It's also a strong attacker in its own right, swinging for a solid 220 damage as well. Now, those 4 cards make up the deck's core game plan. As for the tech choices, we have 2 strong ones. We have Mega Mawile, which is one of the best upgrades the deck got from Mega Evolutions. It answers Cornerstone, which used to nearly be an auto loss for us. It's also an amazing finisher since its first attack does 80 damage times the number of prizes you've taken. The other tech card we're running is Gravity Mountain. We only run a single copy of this as well because this stadium lets Pikachu EX or even Mega Mawile at the end of the game be able to one-shot Dragapult and Charizard, which is extremely important in today's meta. Now, if you want to try the deck yourself, the list is in the description below. Also, my YouTube poll is live right now. You can vote on the next deck for the 1 month 1 deck series. The options are Mega Absol, Mega Kangaskhan, and Slowking, and voting ends November 29th, so be sure to get your vote in before then. With all that said, let's get into game number 1. Alright, so game number 1, our opponent starts off with a Cornerstone Ogerpon, and we start off with Miraidon. So luckily we do have the Mawile in hand, and we're just going to real quickly grab down a Joltik. I was thinking about grabbing the Pikachu, but I decide against it. Just getting the Joltik so we can power up the Pikachu in our hand if we need to at a later point. Our main goal at this point is getting this Mega Mawile set up, so we're going to use Arven here to be able to get a Earthen Vessel plus a Bravery Charm. That way then it buys us enough time to set up the Mega Mawile, and they're not going to be able to easily knock out our Pokemon. Now in here, we are just going to use this Earthen Vessel, get double Metal Energy, and then start attaching those energies so we can take the knockout. Here, we just pass to our opponent's turn, and they are going to use a Arven of their own. This Arven can give us a lot of information, and here we actually see that they get a Precious Trolley plus a Turbo Energize. That means that it's most likely the Mega Absol and Mega Kangaskhan variant that runs the Cornerstone package as an answer to things like Goldango and such. So we know that we're most likely going to be having to deal with 3 prizers as well, and that's exactly what they get from their Precious Trolley. For some reason, they only grab 3 Pokemon instead of grabbing like a full bench, but I mean, these are the 3 perfect Pokemon for their deck. And here they are just going to use that Turbo Energize, trying to set up their Mega Absol so they can go in for a big swing in next turn. So with that being the case, we're actually going to use Miraidon again, grabbing another Joltik and the Pikachu EX, and then using this Nest Ball to be able to grab our Latias so we can actually throw the Joltik up. It's important that we attach the grass there, not the metal, because we need the metal for our Mega Mawile to answer that Cornerstone. So here with this Joltik, we are just going to be spreading our grass energy specifically as well, and making sure to attach at least 1 lightning to both Pikachu EX and to Mega Mawile, so that way the next turn, if need be, we can just attach the metal to either one of them to be able to do a solid damage. Now in here, our opponent is doing exactly what we predicted. They go straight into the Mega Absol after attaching for turn, and they are going to rip the boss's orders out of our hand. We will be just throwing up this other Joltik, and we top deck into Arven, so that is huge. That means that we can easily answer this Mega Absol here, And at first, I think about grabbing our Prime Catcher because that way we can get rid of the Cornerstone first. But then after doing a quick think, I realize I still have Iron Leaves left in the deck, so I can just get a Ultra Ball, not a Nest Ball. Do not get Iron Leaves off a Nest Ball. Make sure that you get the Ultra Ball. And this is going to get rid of our Gravity Mountain and our other Miraidon in hand, but it does get us the Iron Leaves. We have enough grass energy on the field for it to work, and we will be able to one-shot taking 3 prizes on this Mega Absol. So in case you don't know what Iron Leaves does, when you play it from hand, it immediately can switch up to active and move energy from your bench Pokemon up to it so it can actually attack that turn. So here, this is actually huge for us. So now, during our opponent's turn, they are going to be able to use their Mega Kangaskhan in the active, drawing 2 cards. They do find a Pokégear, they find a Boss's Orders, but they don't really have enough energy anywhere to be able to do what they need to, and they can't really use Boss's Orders and Crispin in the same turn, so instead they are going to use an Arven. With this Arven, they are most likely going to try to set up either another Mega Absol, or they may just try to go into a Cornerstone type of play and just try to set up multiple Cornerstones. Instead, they actually pivot one more time into the Yveltal, and they're trying to set up a position where they can lock our Latias into the active for a couple turns, buying them enough time to be able to set up their attackers. I catch on to that real quick though. So here I'm eyeing my Pokégear, just debating about if I want to use it right now or not. And I'm just doing some math in my head. So I know that I can't attack with this Iron Leaves. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to swing with Mega Mawile, dealing that 260 damage, which is very important because now I actually have a very good out to this situation. So as you see, they do the boss, they do attach a Bravery Charm to their Mega Kangaskhan, and then they start doing the Clutch Lock to try to buy them some turns. We're trying to hit right now our Arven, and sadly we whiff off of that Pokégear, the Arven. So what that means is that we're going to have to fire off this Iono, limiting them down to 5 cards in hand, and hopefully being able to draw into an Arven, which we do. So Arven is important here because we still have Prime Catcher left in the deck because we didn't select it earlier on, and instead we got the Ultra Ball for the Iron Leaves. So that means that we can actually use the Arven, find the Prime Catcher, swap up the Mega Mawile, and swap up their Mega Kangaskhan and take the final 3 prizes. Here our opponent is doing a lot of thought. They are going to use this Nest Ball, but it's just to shuffle their deck, see what was left in there, and then they're just going to retreat lock for another turn. But all we have to do is just fire off this Arven, grab that Prime Catcher, our opponent sees what's going to happen, and they concede. Alright, so for game number 2, I'm going to show one of our most difficult matchups, which is against Baby Ursaluna, which is rising in popularity lately, just like Alakazam. Now, here off of the Miraidon, we are going to grab the Iron Hands and the Pikachu EX, and we start it with Iron Leaves and attach a Metal Energy to it. That way then we keep the Joltik safe so we can actually use its attack next turn to power up our attackers. Here our opponent does have a Lunatone in the active, but they do find a Fighting Gong, which is going to be able to grab them the Soul Rock, and now they can actually start drawing some extra cards, trying to get their combo pieces in hand so they can actually take the big knockouts that they need. Now, most of our Pokemon are ×2 weak to fighting, and that's kind of what makes this such a terrible matchup for us. If it wasn't for the fact that like Iron Hands had ×2 weakness to it, then there's a solid chance that this wouldn't have been as bad of a matchup for us. Now, our opponent does have the secret box, so now they're just debating about what cards do they want to discard. They end up discarding 3 energy, which generally means that they probably have a lot of good cards in their hand. They're just needing to get the final combo pieces so they can actually start swinging most likely next turn. Now, and as for us, our game plan from our hand here is we are just going to be retreating the Iron Leaves into Joltik, attaching this electric energy, and then powering up our Iron Hands to try to take multiple prizes. Now, and here our opponent did have the switch, and they hadn't used a supporter yet, so they do use that boss that they got off of their secret box. This way they can actually take a early knockout. They are going to have to use a Night Stretcher along with that, so they are using a ton of resources. They do put down their stadium as well, which is kind of devastating for us, but we do have ways of playing around it as well. Now in here, we just throw the Iron Leaves back up because we are going to have to use the Miraidon to be able to get a second copy of Joltik onto the field for us because they knocked the first one out. Now, and this is going to put 20 damage onto our Joltik, which doesn't really matter too much in the long run of things because it's easy to get knocked out anyway. And then we are just going to power up Iron Hands. Luckily, the stadium won't deal damage to our Iron Hands because it's being attached from deck, not from hand. Now, while playing the game, at first, I didn't realize that either. That's one of the reasons why I wasn't powering up, like, my Pikachu, but at the same time, Pikachu isn't too good of a attacker here either because they kind of rely on Monkey Dory to be able to move damage over for their Ursaluna combo. Now in here, they are going to attach their tool that will make me take damage for taking a knockout on this Soul Rock, and they are just starting to get their combo pieces in line and just waiting it out. Now, and they are going to take a knockout here on the Joltik using their Monkey Dory because they still had the stadium out before they attach the energy. And we're going to play it a little bit smart. We're going to go and throw the Iron Leaves up because if they're going to take a 2-prize knockout this turn by playing down like the Ursaluna, I would rather them take a knockout on the Iron Leaves rather than the Iron Hands. Now, we also could have just thrown up the Pikachu EX. That could have been an option as well, since they already used the Monkey Dory effect, but I was getting the read that maybe they don't have every single combo piece that they need yet because they do have to do a manual attach for the turn as well. So that's one of the reasons why I just threw up the Iron Leaves instead. That way then we can try to protect our Pikachu EX just a little bit longer. Now in here, they do use a Nest Ball. They're getting down another Monkey Dory and then attaching the EXP share. So that way then if we do find a way to knock out the other Monkey Dory, then they at least have one with a Dark Energy so they can start moving damage over. Now in here with the Miraidon, I'm just trying to look at what exactly is left in my deck. I do have the Mega Mawile, but that's not going to be a card that I really need to go into this matchup because that's just a free 3 prizes. And here we are just going to use this Ultra Ball, get down a Fez. That way then we can draw 3, see what we get from there. We do find a Nest Ball, so we can grab down the Latias. That way then it's free retreat. And here I am going to use the Arven as well. Now, and I am going to just grab this Prime Catcher plus a Bravery Charm. This way I can actually swing this turn, taking out one of the Monkey Dories and taking 2 prizes. The issue is that I don't have another attacker set up, and I'm not going to be attaching to Pikachu this turn because I didn't want to pop its ability, but that would have been the right call, is attaching to Pikachu. That way then Crispin would be able to find me energy so I could actually swing on the following turn, knowing pretty well that this Iron Hands is going to get knocked out. Now in here, we did attach that Bravery Charm to the Fez as well. That way then it's a little bit harder for them to knock out the Fez, giving us 3 extra draw next turn after they do take these next 2 prizes. But we are just very much on the back foot here. Now, and they are getting their combo fully set up in hand. They do find their Bloodmoon. They do get that down onto the field using its ability to be able to put 2 fighting energy onto it, and then using the stadium to be able to deal damage to itself. So that way then Monkey Dory can actually move that damage over, allowing them to one-shot with Bloodmoon Ursaluna because its attack does 100 damage plus 30 damage more for each damage counter that's on the opposing Pokemon. So it's their way of being able to one-shot big EXs and take multiple prizes. Now, and because we did not attach last turn, we're actually not going to have any attackers that can actually deal damage next turn. So pretty much the writing is going to be on the wall, and I'm just going to let them do their attack right here, take a knockout, and then see what we draw from Fez, see if we can find some way to stall out for like a turn or 2. But it is not looking very good right now. Now, we top deck into an Arven, which is fine, but we are going to use this Fez. We do find the Super Rod. During this game, I didn't see this line of play, but what I should have done is use Super Rod first, put back a Joltik plus 2 energy, and then be able to attach for turn to the Joltik, allowing me to be able to power up 2 of my attackers and putting a 1-prizer into the active, forcing them to need to find a boss in order to win the game. We also do hit them with the Iono, but we're just going to concede here because we do see the writing on the wall because we didn't go for that initial play. Alright, so after testing Joltik Box for quite a bit, I do think the deck is very strong right now. It has a well-rounded matchup spread, with things like Alakazam and Baby Ursaluna being the hardest matchups by far. If you're looking for a deck that's competitive, consistent, and relatively easy to play, then Joltik Box is absolutely worth picking up. Now, and if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button. I do upload every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and I'll see you in the next one.